This is the Pulse of Spokane. I'm Tyler LeMasters. We have Jason Farley today. He is the president of Inland Northwest Film Studios. What's going on, man?
Everything's good. How you doing?
Good. You got some crazy good stuff going on right now. You are opening up or trying to develop a 40,000 square foot film stage.
Sound
Right?
studio.
Sound
Yeah.
studio. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. What's going on?
Yeah, we're working on trying to construct four 10,000 square foot sound stages out in Airway Heights,
Mm-hmm.
and sound stages dedicated to film and television, and see if we can draw some new business to Spokane, draw some new production companies, and then build up the local production, just film community. We've got a great community of filmmakers here, and see
Yeah.
what we can show the world.
It's kind of funny. You and I have been talking about it for the last couple months since I found out that you were doing this, and yeah, it's like the people are leaving Los Angeles, right?
Yeah,
That's
in
what you've been
droves.
telling me.
In
They're
droves.
leaving in droves, and they're looking for places to continue being creative and making movies. And um, the interesting thing is everyone talks about the migration, like the COVID migration, in really negative terms. But you're viewing it as an opportunity.
Right, yeah. I mean, Spokane is an amazing town, amazing
Mhm.
city. It's one of the friendliest cities you'll ever find at this size. And it has so much to offer, and but people don't know about it. People don't realize it's here. And if you talk to people in Spokane sometimes, and they're like, well, we don't want everybody to come here. And the problem is, if you try to hold on to all of the good things that you've got, and you end up squeezing them to death. And I think that we have something to offer. We have a town with very little traffic, that has every amenity you could want in any city.
Yeah.
And then just the most neighborly folks you're going to run into.
Yeah.
And I think we can.
Well, you
draw.
especially think that because you've lived here your whole life.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You live in the same house that you grew up in.
Right,
and
right, yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is, yeah. We moved away in for a few years. Spent some time in California, and have loved being back. When we moved back up from California, my kids, I didn't realize how much California was affecting them until a stranger asked us how we were doing on the street, and they said, what do they want from us? And I said, no, we're in Spokane. We're just where people are friendly again. And
Every time I leave and come back, I realize that.
Yeah.
And like I was in DC for a year and a half, and I come back and there's people smiling at me on the street as I'm walking past them. And I kept thinking, oh gosh, there's something on my face, or something bad happened, something on my back or something like that. And finally I just realized people are just nice.
Just neighborly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got great beer, we've got great coffee, we've got great distillery, we've got
good music.
The downtown's amazing.
Nature, lakes,
right?
Skiing.
We have everything.
Yeah.
Everything but a rainforest. You got to go 7 hours for that. But everything else we've got.
Well, that's a good thing.
Right here. I don't know. I lived over by the rainforest. It's beautiful. I mean, it's wet, but it's beautiful.
Well, maybe explain a little bit about what that is, what the soundstage is.
Yeah.
Because
so
people
soundstage,
might not understand that.
It's basically a big empty place, a big empty building where you can control the lighting completely and control temperature, and so that you can build a set inside. So if you need it to be day, you turn.
So how much how much is the movie and TV industry actually using this?
Well, before COVID, on the West Coast, the two main cities people film are Vancouver and Los Angeles. Vancouver, British Columbia. And Los Angeles was at about 97% capacity on the sound stages that they have down there. Vancouver is about 96% capacity. And so it was tough to get sound stages, to find crew, if you could find sound stages in those areas. They're just
You said
full.
96%
96.
capacity?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And so that's why shows like Breaking Bad, that was originally written for L.A. They ended up in Albuquerque, which was way better for the story anyway. But they ended up there partly because everything's full, and the folks over in Albuquerque,
But are they using sound stages at times?
At times, yeah. So you've got all sorts of.
So maybe like the house that was a sound stage.
Right, exactly.
Oh wow.
And so a lot of times what you do is you've got the inside of a house built, and you have what's called an establishing shot, right? You shoot the outside of some house somewhere, and then you cut to the inside, which is actually just a sound stage.
Right. Yeah.
And our imagination, we're built to fill in the details, and so we see the outside of the house, we cut to the inside of the house.
Okay, so that's actually more practical than I was thinking, because I just think of Marvel movies, where they've got the whole thing being filmed beginning to end on a sound stage.
Right, yeah, because like there were no shots outside in the Black Panther. Right, that's an indoor movie.
So I assume that filming a movie like that in Los Angeles is just going to be more expensive than filming a movie like that in a city like Spokane, right?
Yeah.
So if you have to put up actors in hotels and you have to pay all these extras and give people a food stipend and all these things, I guess what I'm saying is I like this concept, because there's a lot of money for Spokane.
Yeah.
In this kind of thing.
Yeah. There's a lot of money. Spokane needs money flowing in from outside. We have, grateful for the developers that have worked on things, but downtown's being bought up by folks from outside, and so all that rent money leaves. I want something that changes the flow of money so that outside money's being spent in Spokane. We've got great hotels that would be $400, $500 a night in LA. Yeah. And here, people's jaws drop when they see how inexpensive it is to stay at the Davenport.
How big are crews normally for stuff like that?
You're looking at 30 to 60 people, depending on the size of what you're doing. And a lot of we have some great crews here that can be hired to do things, but you're still bringing in quite a few people from outside, and you're putting them up in a hotel while they're here.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so I guess probably the big question is, how much money can this make? How much money is on the line here?
Yeah,
not for you, but for the project.
So if a movie comes in, and it's spending, $10 to $20 million, a lot of that ends up just spent around town. You've got to feed the crew, house the crew. Yeah. And then you give the crew the folks that are coming in, they get their per diem. They go, they spend it at the around town, spend it in restaurants.
Definitely.
There's the entertainment industry looks at the dollar differently than most folks. So, they look at something and they say, okay, this is going to be 20 million, and or they say, oh, like 10 million, and they say, oh, so it's a micro budget film. You're like, wait, what? What are we talking about? It's a that's an indie movie. Yeah. I think $10 million is the new limit. So as long as it's under that, it's an independent film. Okay, which is crazy, but but there's a lot of money on the line, for distribution deals, and like Netflix, they pay distribution up front, and that's what you make the movie with. So there's just enormous amounts of money on the line.
You mentioned something interesting about Breaking Bad and how they were supposed to film in LA and then they moved to Albuquerque. Yeah. And for me, that's what made the show, which I still think is the best show on Netflix, hands down. Breaking Bad, the character development, everything. But it being in Albuquerque really makes it, because it adds this story where you've got this underappreciated guy, who lives in an underappreciated city. Right. I think the stories are getting a little tired, because everything is Los Angeles. It's all stories from people who live in Los Angeles, around Los Angeles, and now a lot of the movies and TV shows are about the entertainment industry itself.
Yeah, it's become it's become a little self-congratulatory.
Yeah, and I think it's maybe because LA is a little bit of a bubble, right? People who live there,
little bit,
they never leave.
They don't know that the rest of the world exists
Yeah.
half the time. Yeah.
They think New York exists, but they also hate New York, and so. But there's something really special that could happen here if we have a soundstage, so that we could have stories from our community told, and I think that's a good thing, because there's people don't even know we exist.
Right.
And really they think anything outside of the city is just farmers. And it's like we live here.
Yeah. I mean, something like Breaking Bad, if it was set in LA, it would have just been one more show that writers loved because it's really well written, and but it wouldn't have done what it wouldn't have become as universal as it is. And that is the same way that our imagination fills in the story when you cut from the outside to the inside of a house. The way we get those universal stories is by telling very particular stories. There's a great new show on the Sci-Fi Channel called Resident Alien about a little mountain town in Colorado.
Okay.
And it's amazing how universal it feels, but it's a teeny tiny small town story where everybody knows everybody in town, and but you end up with this universal feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
And LA is, it's hard to get particular, in a city like LA.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to, it's sort of the universal culture. Down in Southern California, it's bland.
Right. It is bland.
Yeah. And you get into those particulars, and that's where you really find the universal stories. So, and I think Spokane, it has fantastic architecture. It has great neighborhoods. You can find a desert just outside of town one direction. You can there's 100 lakes the other direction. You've got forests. You've got everything you need. You get out on the Palouse. You've got all the farmland and
diverse ideas, diverse stories.
Yeah.
Diverse what's it called? Geography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in LA, you don't meet people that aren't just like you, and because everybody. I'm not trying to be down on LA, but
you can if you want.
If you think different, then you can't find a place in town, right? Spokane's not like that. It's a place where your neighbor puts up a different political sign than you, and nobody really cares. You still barbecue together.
Yeah, for sure.
It's one of the great things about a town like this.
Yeah. So, what do you need? What are you trying to do going forward? Because you've been getting a lot of attention. You got a journal business, article, and what are you trying to do to get this thing fully rolling?
I mean, right now I'm meeting with investors. The journal of business article got me some great meetings, and we're just trying to find the right investors that get what we're trying to do. That understand the benefit that this is to the community, and want to see that. There's a lot of money on the table, but I don't want it all in my pocket. I want it in the city. So finding an investor that gets that this is about raising the bar all across town, building up the film community here, bringing in opportunities, and becoming the kind of place that producers and directors say, why would I want to live anywhere else? We don't want to build just a sound studio people like, but we want to build people's favorite sound studio that they want to come back to over and over again. So just finding the right investor that gets that vision, that understands that it's more than a bottom line, and sees why we want to build the kind of place that enhances the creativity of what goes on there, and isn't just a factory.
So because it's going to happen when you get the investors, and you get really into it and start rolling, are you going to start dressing differently? No, I mean, like, are you going to start being real trendy and unapproachable dressing? Where people are like, what is going
I've already
on?
been checking out the dark sunglasses so nobody can see my eyes anymore. I'm going to stop smiling.
Because at a certain point in time in life, in success, you can dress a certain way and no one will say anything to you.
Right.
Because they just want to be in your good graces.
Oh, man.
Weird hats.
If you ever see me doing that, you have full permission to slap me. That's my...
I'll just be like, things are going good, huh? Cool. Well, we appreciate you having on the show, and hopefully you guys find success. I think it's going to be great. It's going to be great for the city, and best of luck.
Thanks for having me. Love being here.
What? You haven't been to the library lately? Stop in today and see that the library is more than books. Spokane County Library District facilities feature on-site technology, including Wi-Fi, computers, and printers, as well as free use of meeting rooms. The Library District offers events and programs for all ages, from story times to career development and employer classes to Social Security workshops. Our staff is well trained and happy to help. Find out more about your library at scld.org.
Welcome to Tom Sawyer Country Coffee.
Tom Sawyer Country Coffee only roasts the finest organic coffee for our signature blends. Enjoy a cup at our coffee shop and local businesses and organizations across the region.
I'm Tom Sawyer, and we choose the Pacific Northwest.
Hi, this is Kurt Stockwell with Well Dressed Walrus. We are a local website design and development company here in Spokane. What we do is build beautiful, usable websites for local businesses. A website needs to be beautiful, it needs to be usable for your users, your customers, and yourself. Contact us anytime. We'd love to talk with you about your online marketing.
Thanks for watching this episode of The Pulse. We are where you are. Check us out on any of these other platforms as well as our website. This show is sponsored by Local 29 Firefighters Union, Homes for You, and Apex Cannabis.